Hi everyone, it's Mrs. B, and I'm here with another mini lesson to give you a new idea about something you could write about in your Learning at Home Together journals. Today I thought it would be really interesting for us to focus in on our unique settings. And we know from all of the work that we've done during reading and writing workshop, we know that setting is the time and place in which a story is happening. So right now, the time that we're living in, and time doesn't always refer to like 12 o'clock, 4 o'clock, that kind of time. It can be a time period in history. So right now, we're living in this COVID-19 time period in the spring of 2020 when we're all at home, learning from home to help keep us safe from the virus. And each of us are doing that learning in a very unique place. We live in different cities, different towns, different types of homes, and that's why I thought this would be such an interesting thing for us to document inside of our journals. I also thought it might be really interesting for us to think about setting in terms of looking outside of our window, okay? So that we could see what's going on in nature around us, and we could record those types of things in our journals. So that's kind of the focus of our time today. So you can think about, I can identify the setting that I'm living in, and I can record that in my journal so that many years from now, I can look back at that and realize and remember what it was like to be a kid in that moment of time. And I can also share that journal with others so they can see what it was like for me to live during that moment in time. So before we get started, there's a couple things that you would need to think about, and you would need to write these down in your journal. You would want to identify, where are you? Are you living in a city? Are you living in a town? Are you living in a house? Are you living in an apartment? If you're in an apartment, are you on the ground floor or are you on the very top floor? Because you're going to see very different things if you're on the ground floor than if you are on the top floor. And that will be very interesting to watch and write about. And then you're going to start observing what exactly you see wherever you are. Okay? I also want you to pay attention to the types of things that you hear as well, because the things that you're hearing are also helping you understand your setting. Okay? One of the things that I notice when I look out my window, I have a big window right this way out here, is I notice that there are a lot of trees. And right now, there are not any leaves on the trees. They're just starting to have some small buds, little yellow buds on that one. A neighbor's house a little bit further away, I can see pink flowers on their tree, but I definitely don't see any leaves yet. And other than that neighbor's tree, there's not a lot of color. I have a feeling that in the coming weeks that will start to change. If you're living in an apartment right now, I wonder if you look out your window, do you see the tops of trees or do you see the bottoms of trees? Maybe you don't see trees at all. We're all going to have completely different views outside of our own windows, and I think that's what makes this kind of interesting. Okay? I'm wondering if you're seeing any birds outside of your window. If you're in the city, do you see them hopping around on the sidewalk? Do you see them landing on other buildings? Outside of my house, there they are. I see little robins out looking for worms. And robins are a sign of spring, and it is spring, so it's so nice to see those robins. Okay. I also see something else outside my window. I see flowers growing outside my window. I see the daffodils, and they are such a vivid yellow. They're like sunshine yellow. They make me so happy, and they smell so, so wonderful. I'm wondering if you see flowers outside of your window. And if you don't have flowers growing in your yard, does anyone have them growing in pots? Or does anyone have a window box? Or maybe flowers aren't part of what you see outside of your window. But you're going to want to make sure that you're keeping track of the details if you do see flowers. Are they blossoming? Or are they just sprouts? Or have they turned brown and they're just, and soon new flowers will have to come and take their place. I'm wondering if you see any animals. I know that I have seen some squirrels looking, and I don't see them right now. But lately there have been a lot of squirrels in my yard, two in particular that love to play chase. It seems like every day they are out there chasing each other around, going up one side of a tree and down the other. They're actually really fun to watch. I've also noticed a lot more bunnies in my yard lately. And while I used to think bunnies were really cute, I'm not feeling a lot of love for the bunnies right now because they keep eating my flowers. So, on the bunnies. Another thing that I see when I look out my window Not this window, because this is to my backyard, but when I'm in a different part of my house and I look out the window, and maybe you're noticing this when you look out your window, is I oftentimes see people. And the people I see, they're doing two different types of things. I see people that are outside for recreation, and by that I mean that they are walking or riding bikes, just doing things to get fresh air. Or I see workers, people picking up trash, people delivering groceries, packages, mail. But one thing that I'm noticing as I look out my window that people are starting to wear different. I'm seeing people wear masks. Our mailman, our mail carrier, he's now wearing a face mask every day when he brings our mail. So that would be something for you to notice. Or if you're seeing people, what are you seeing? And also, what kind of clothing are they wearing? I'm noticing people are still wearing heavy coats and hats a lot, but I have a feeling that will change in the coming weeks as well. I'm also noticing something about the vehicles that I've been seeing outside of my window. I'm actually seeing a lot less cars go by, and I think that's because so many people are working from home now, so there's not as many cars on the road, but I am still seeing those delivery, the workers going by. I also want to think, so outside of my window, I'm also noticing, are there any things that are going on inside my house that are a part of my own individual setting? I can oftentimes hear members of my family in different parts of my house. My son is actually online with his school right now, and I can hear him talking with one of his teachers in the other room. So writers, today I hope that you'll take some time to sit and watch and listen and think about recording what your individual setting is like during this moment in time while we are all away from school. The more details that you write, better. I promise you that when you're older, you're going to be so happy that you took the time to write these things down. And you will wish that you had recorded more details if you only write a few. So push yourself to write those details, what it sounds like, what it looks like, the colors of things. So that's it for today. I hope that you are all healthy and well. I miss seeing you at school, but I'll be back with another video sometime soon. So take care of yourself, be well, and off you go.